All right, so about 9 years ago, I went into cardiac arrest. I was in my late 30s. I actually had some things going on with my body. I had no idea. I was in my home in Utah, and I ended up having some pains in my chest. My arm went numb, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. So I called somebody, and they said, "Hey, you probably need to get to a hospital." So I went to a hospital. I drove myself to the hospital. Come to find out, I actually was going into cardiac arrest. So they rolled a gurney out and put me on the table and shoved a needle with adrenaline into my heart. And so it was a pretty scary time in my life. I was actually really frightened. I was alone. Through that process, I ended up having 5 different surgeries and 5 stents placed in my heart. And as a result of that, the very last surgery I had, the on-call cardiologist actually went through my femoral artery and hit another artery, which caused a pseudoaneurysm, and that kept me in the hospital an extra week because of the blood clot in my leg, and I came out of that with nerve damage in my leg. And so for the longest time, I had to have somebody help put my right sock and tie my right shoe on, and it was really a frustrating thing, and it was just something I thought I'd have to live with the rest of my life. And a few years later, after going through tests and being on all kind of heart medication, I thought this was just going to be my life. I had my cardiologist tell me that 5 years from that day, that I would need an open heart surgery. I would have to have a bypass surgery just to continue living the life that I wanted to live. And so it was a pretty hard thing for me to handle, being at such a young age. And I just accepted it, that was going to be my life. And 5 years later, I ended up having a chance. I was in an office in Salt Lake City. I had a chance to meet a man named Franco Cavalieri. And we went through the story with him, and Franco just looked at me, and I'll never forget this. He had a white bottle similar to this one, and he rolled it across the table, and he said, "Rob, you take this product, it'll save your life." I'd been to some of the best doctors, best cardiologists in the country, and nobody could ever tell me, "Hey, you do this and this and this, your life you'll live the kind of life you want to live. You'll live a long, healthy life." So when I heard that from Franco, I was like, all right, I've heard this kind of stuff before, but I'm going to put it to the test. So Franco said, "Take 5 a day, and let's see how it works on you." So I said, "You know what? I'm going to take 10 a day, Franco." He said, "You can take as many as you want, but 5's plenty. But if you want to do 10, 10's fine." So I took 10 a day, and if you know anything about heart patients, we actually have to go have stress tests and all these different kind of tests periodically through the year. They hook you up to heart monitors, and then they actually put you on a treadmill and you have to run, and then that they monitor the heart that way. So I was on the product taking 10 pills a day for about 4 months, and I ended up going in for my first nuclear stress test. I knew that the product was working on me before that, because I didn't have the aches and the pains and the different kind of things that's been going on with my body. I noticed that after a certain amount of time, I was able to put my own sock on and tie my own shoe. So I knew that things were working, but I didn't know what it was doing for my heart. And so I went in for a stress test, and got done with the stress test, and I thought, gosh, this is a lot easier than some of the other stress tests that I've had to have. And my cardiologist come in, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He says, "Rob, I don't know what you're doing, but your heart looks like a 25-year-old boy." And literally, I almost just broke down right there, and it was a very emotional time, because I didn't know what it was doing for my heart. And he says, "What are you doing?" And I go, I don't know a lot about this pill, but I have a friend who, his name's Franco Cavalieri, and it deals with inflammation. It's got turmeric in it. That's about all I know." And he says, "Where can I get some of that?" And Dr. Badger ended up signing up as a customer of mine and the product. He was that convinced of how it worked. And so it was a great experience for me to go through and be able to see my life actually change. And the greatest thing about it is I had been told that I needed open heart surgery 5 years after that happened. Well, guys, it's been 9 years on this product, and I'm healthy as can be. And 6 months after my stress test there, I was off all my heart medication, and I haven't been back to a heart doctor or cardiologist since. So the product's been absolutely amazing. It's completely changed my life. it's changed my family's life, and you know, my daughter now has the reassurance that, hey, you know, and my grandkids have the reassurance that, hey, they're gonna, you know, Grandpa and Dad's gonna be around for a long time. So basically, my message to you guys is, my heart was, I was told by a cardiologist, one of the best in the country, that 5 years after I first went into cardiac arrest and had 5 stents in my heart, that I would need a bypass surgery and just count on it. There was no way around it. My heart started out looking like an 80-year-old man, to, after being on Pure Recovery, my heart ended up looking like a 25-year-old man after being on the product. I gotta tell you guys, it's changed my life. Get on the product, it'll change your life too.